Listen closely, because the first words you speak to yourself each morning can build your destiny or break it. Your mind is the construction site of your future, and every sunrise hands you the tools to rebuild it stronger. Today I'm giving you 6 power principles, not theories, not cliches, truths that reshape the way you rise, think, and move through the world. The moment your eyes open each morning is the most sacred, underestimated opportunity of your entire day. It's the invisible battlefield where your mindset is won or lost before you even take your first step. Most people don't even realize that the first 60 seconds of their morning hold the power to determine the next 16 hours. They wake up and instantly surrender to noise, to pressure, to expectations, to the world's urgency. But you are not most people. You were never meant to wake up and fall into a cycle of reacting. You were meant to rise with command. Before the world begins pulling at you with notifications, responsibilities, and demands, you must claim those first few moments as your territory. Because the truth is simple: if you don't command your morning, the world will. And the world never leads you toward your highest self. It only leads you toward distraction, anxiety, and chaos. Your morning is your opening declaration of who you choose to be. And that declaration must come from you, not from the noise outside. Think about how much power you give away without even realizing it. The moment you reach for your phone, your mind is hijacked by someone else's agenda. You scroll through messages that pull you into work you're not ready for. You see headlines designed to trigger fear. You see other people's lives and feel behind before your day has even begun. That tiny action sets off a chain reaction. Mentally, emotionally, psychologically. Suddenly your mind is racing. Your thoughts feel scattered, and your entire morning becomes a response to the outside world instead of a creation from within. And this isn't a coincidence, it's conditioning. The world has conditioned you to start your day in reaction mode, because a reactive person is easy to influence. But a person who commands their morning, they become unstoppable. They walk into the world already centered, focused, prepared, and grounded. They are not swayed by every distraction, every crisis, every curveball. They've already built their mindset before stepping into the noise. Leadership begins the moment you wake up. Not leadership of others, leadership of yourself. That is the foundation of everything that follows. When you open your eyes and immediately choose to guide your thoughts, you reclaim your power. You become the authority of your own mind instead of a passive participant in your own life. And here's the beauty: you don't need a complicated routine, a rigid schedule, or a checklist of habits. You just need intention. The intention to pause before engaging. The intention to breathe before reacting. The intention to set the tone instead of letting the tone set you. It's the difference between waking up with chaos or waking up with clarity. And clarity is not accidental. It's created, it's shaped, it's chosen. When you lead yourself in the morning, you build inner strength that carries through the rest of your day like an anchor. You make decisions with confidence instead of confusion. You face challenges with composure instead of panic. You communicate with purpose instead of irritation. Self-leadership in the morning becomes self-mastery throughout the day. Most people underestimate the profound psychological shift that happens when you decide to own your morning. It's not just about feeling productive or energized. It's about reshaping your identity. Every morning you are telling yourself a story. Either I'm in control or I'm on autopilot. And your mind listens. It adapts. It follows whatever narrative you reinforce. When you take control of those first moments, you're not just altering your behavior. You're redefining who you are on a deeper level. You're telling your subconscious, I choose my direction. I choose my focus. I choose my energy. That message becomes the backbone of your confidence. It becomes the thread that ties together your goals, your discipline, your ambition, and your ability to follow through. The world can push, pull, and attempt to distract you, but your inner compass stays firm because you calibrated it before the noise began. There is a version of you, stronger, wiser, clearer, waiting on the other side of a disciplined morning mindset. But you won't meet them if you start your day in reaction. You won't meet them if your mornings are rushed, scattered, or controlled by someone else's urgency. That version of you emerges when you step into your day with intention so powerful that nothing external can shake it. When you wake up and create your focus instead of absorbing everyone else's. When you decide that your inner world matters more than the chaos of the outer one. This is where transformation begins. Not in big dramatic moments, but in the small, consistent decision to rise with purpose. Your morning becomes the training ground for your future. It becomes the space where you choose strength over stress, clarity over distraction, and leadership over passiveness. So tomorrow morning, before your feet hit the ground, take a breath and remember this: your day will reflect the energy you build in your first moments. Build strength, build intention, build direction. You are not here to be pulled into life. You are here to step into it with power. You are the architect of your morning, and the morning is the architect of your destiny. Own it fully, lead it boldly, and watch how your life begins to rise with the same authority you choose to rise with every single day. Build your morning with command, and the world will have no choice but to rise to meet the strength you created. Your first thoughts in the morning are not just random ideas drifting through your mind. They are the foundation stones of everything you will think, feel, and do for the rest of the day. Most people never stop to realize how much power sits inside those early moments. They wake up and immediately accept whatever thought shows up first. Worry, stress, comparison, fear, frustration. They don't even question it. They just take it in and let it become the frame of their entire day. But the truth is, those thoughts are not facts, they are choices. And if you don't choose them consciously, they will choose you subconsciously. Your mind is incredibly impressionable in the morning. It's open, it's listening, it's absorbing. This is why you must treat your first thoughts like gold, because they shape the identity you walk with, the confidence you carry, and the energy you pour into everything you touch. There is a psychological doorway that opens the moment you wake up. It's a narrow window where your subconscious mind is most receptive. This is the window where beliefs are built, not the beliefs you post online, not the beliefs you talk about with friends, the beliefs that quietly run your life. If your first thought is heavy, the rest of your day will be built on heaviness. If your first thought is rooted in doubt, you'll find reasons to doubt everything you do. But if your first thought is intentional, if it's chosen, powerful, uplifting, you hardwire yourself to face the day from a position of strength. And this isn't some vague motivational idea. This is neuroscience. Your morning thoughts activate neural pathways that influence your emotional state, your attention, your habits, your decisions. So why would you ever let fear, negativity, or someone else's opinion be the first thing you feed your mind? When you consciously protect your first thoughts, you stop letting the world define who you are before you even get a chance to decide. Think about how many mornings you've woken up and instantly felt overwhelmed, as if the day had already outrun you before you even started. That feeling doesn't come from reality. It comes from unfiltered thoughts rushing in without control. Protecting your first thoughts means stepping into your morning with boundaries. It means choosing silence before noise, clarity before distraction, intention before chaos. You don't owe the world your mental energy at sunrise. You owe yourself the chance to center, to breathe, to decide what kind of person you want to be before life tries to tell you. When you guard your inner world first, the outer world stops feeling so heavy. The words you speak to your mind in the morning shape the way you interpret every challenge throughout the day. If you wake up telling yourself you're tired, the day will drain you. If you wake up telling yourself nothing ever goes right, your mind will look for proof to support that belief. But when you begin your day speaking strength, clarity, and purpose into your mind, you give yourself an advantage that most people never tap into. You create a mental filter that highlights possibilities instead of problems. Your brain literally shifts to support the identity you choose. So if you tell yourself, I'm capable, you will find ways to act like it. If you tell yourself, I deserve good things, your choices will start aligning with that truth. If you tell yourself today is mine, you stop moving through the world like a passenger and start moving like the driver of your own life. Protecting your first thoughts is not just about positivity, it's about direction. It's about declaring who you want to be before the world pressures you into being someone else. This is why so many people feel lost. They wake up and immediately consume someone else's story, someone else's success, someone else's energy. They're comparing before they're even conscious. They're absorbing emotions that aren't theirs. They start the day already feeling behind, unworthy, not enough, and that feeling follows them like a shadow. But when you choose your first thoughts intentionally, you create space to start your life from your own truth, not from someone else's highlight reel. You remind yourself of your value before you measure your worth against the world. You remind yourself of your vision before you get distracted by noise. You remind yourself of your purpose before you let society hand you a script you never agreed to. There is strength in deciding what your mind will focus on the moment you wake. That strength becomes your armor, your fuel, your grounding force. Your first thoughts don't have to be perfect, they just have to be chosen. A chosen thought is powerful. A chosen thought creates clarity. A chosen thought sets a direction your entire day will follow. You deserve to start your mornings with intention, not with anxiety. You deserve thoughts that lift you, not thoughts that bury you. And you deserve the kind of mindset that builds you into the person you were meant to become, not the person the world pressures you to be. Protect your first thoughts fiercely. They are the gateway to your confidence, your peace, your identity, and ultimately the life you are building. Guard your first thoughts with intention and watch your entire day rise around the strength you choose. Most people treat their mind like an afterthought, something that will magically function at full strength without being nourished. But the truth is undeniable. Your mind needs fuel just as urgently as your body does. The difference is that mental hunger is silent. You don't feel it as a growl in your stomach. You feel it as distraction, frustration, insecurity, procrastination, and confusion. These are not signs of laziness. They're signs of a starving mind. You cannot expect clarity when you're feeding your mind chaos. You cannot expect confidence when you're feeding it comparison. You cannot expect greatness when the first thing you consume each morning is noise, negativity, and other people's drama. Every day your mind is processing more information than any generation before you. That's why being intentional about you feed it isn't optional, it's survival. The world is constantly trying to pour into your mind, and not everything it offers is worthy of space in your head. Every scroll, every headline, every notification has the power to shift your mood, your beliefs, your sense of direction. A well-fed mind becomes your competitive advantage because it gives you emotional stability, sharper focus, and deeper intelligence. And intelligence isn't just about knowledge, it's about understanding yourself. When your mind is nourished, you can hear your own thoughts clearly. You stop absorbing everyone else's opinions. You stop feeling pulled in 1,000 directions. You stop losing yourself in the noise. A nourished mind doesn't just think better, it lives better. Feeding your mind does not require textbooks, hours of reading, or perfection. It requires intention. 5 minutes of quality input can shift the direction of your entire day. You can listen to a podcast that challenges your perspective. You can watch something that inspires you instead of something that numbs you. You can read one page of something that elevates your mindset. You can study the life of someone whose journey teaches you something powerful. You can reflect on your goals and remind yourself why they matter. You can choose content that stretches your thinking instead of shrinking your potential. You are not responsible for everything your mind encounters throughout the day, but you are absolutely responsible for the first things you give it. That's how you build mental resilience, mental clarity, and mental strength. Your mind is the engine behind your actions, your dreams, your ambition, your relationships, and your sense of self. And like any engine, it performs at the level of the fuel you give it. When you choose to feed your mind intentionally, you're not just improving your day, you're expanding your entire future. You're building a mind that's hard to break, impossible to manipulate, and unwilling to settle. You're building a mindset that supports the person you're becoming instead of keeping you stuck in who you used to be. So feed your mind with purpose. Feed it with depth. Feed it with something that pushes you beyond your comfort zone. Because the world will always try to feed your mind junk, but the ones who rise, the ones who lead, the ones who stand out, are the ones who choose their mental diet with discipline and courage. Feed your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Most people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love, and then they wonder why they struggle to feel confident, grounded, or capable. Your inner voice is the most influential force in your life. It speaks to you more than anyone else ever will, and it shapes the beliefs you carry quietly beneath everything you do. When that voice is filled with doubt, criticism, or fear, it weakens you at the core. You walk into your day feeling smaller, unsure, hesitant. You question your decisions, you downplay your strengths. You shrink in situations where you should be rising. But when your inner voice speaks with authority, with clarity, with conviction, with self-respect, you become powerful from the inside out. Your actions shift, your attitude shifts, your energy shifts. The way you move through the world becomes intentional. Speaking to yourself like a leader isn't about arrogance, it's about honoring your potential. The truth is, you can't control everything that happens around you, but you can control the dialogue happening inside you. Your self-talk is the foundation of your mindset, and your mindset is the foundation of your life. The world will challenge you. People will doubt you. Circumstances will test you. But if your inner voice is strong, if it reminds you who you are, what you're capable of, and why you're not giving up, you become unshakable. That voice becomes your anchor when life gets heavy. It becomes your fuel when you feel drained. It becomes your compass when everything feels uncertain. Many people wait for external validation before they believe in themselves. But power doesn't come from being told you're strong. It comes from telling yourself you are strong and then choosing to believe it. Every person carries a narrative about themselves, a story they replay internally, again and again. That story influences every choice, every opportunity, every relationship. If your story says, "I'm not enough," then no matter how skilled, how intelligent, or how talented you are, you will dim your own light. You will hesitate when you should leap. You will retreat when you should stand tall. You will doubt yourself even in rooms where you belong. But when your story says, "I can handle this," everything changes. You start taking action instead of waiting for the perfect moment. You start speaking up instead of staying silent. You start trusting your intuition instead of questioning it. Words become beliefs. Beliefs become identity. Identity becomes destiny. That is why your self-talk is not just a habit, it's a tool of transformation. Speaking to yourself with authority means you refuse to let insecurity narrate your story. It means you talk to yourself the way a great coach talks to an athlete, with truth, with strength, with vision. You remind yourself of your capability, especially on the days you don't feel it. You correct your thoughts when they drift into negativity. You don't let your mind bully you with worst-case scenarios or old wounds. You speak from the version of you that is rising, not the version of you that is afraid. This is not delusion, it's discipline. It's training your mind to act in alignment with your highest potential instead of your lowest fear. You deserve to be encouraged. You deserve to be supported. You deserve to be spoken to with respect, even from yourself. And here's the part most people miss: the way you speak to yourself becomes the standard for how the world speaks to you. If you treat yourself with doubt, insecurity, and criticism, you will tolerate those things from others. But if your inner voice is firm, respectful, and grounded, you stop allowing the world to hand you less than you deserve. You stop accepting relationships that drain you, opportunities that diminish you, and environments that suffocate you. You begin to expect more because internally you've built more. Your inner voice teaches the world how to treat you. When you speak with authority, the world learns to speak to you with respect. When you speak with clarity, the world learns to see your value. When you speak with conviction, the world begins to respond differently. Your voice, your own voice, is your power. Not the voice you use for others, not the voice you show the world, but the voice inside your mind when no one is watching. Strengthen that voice, and you strengthen your entire life. Speak to yourself as someone who believes in your growth, your resilience, your intelligence, your worthiness. Remind yourself of your victories. Encourage yourself through your challenges. Guide yourself with compassion and honesty. You don't need permission to talk to yourself like a leader. You just need the courage to begin. Because the moment you change your inner dialogue, you change your direction. You shift your identity. You elevate your life. Speak with intention, speak with strength, speak with authority. Your mind is listening. Speak to yourself like a leader. And watch your life rise to match the voice you choose. Most people start their day already sprinting, mentally, emotionally, even physically, without truly understanding where they're running or why they're in such a rush. They wake up and let urgency take over, letting pressure and panic dictate their pace. They move fast, but not intentionally. They check boxes instead of creating progress. They get things done but feel nothing shifting within them. And then they wonder why they end their day exhausted, unfulfilled, and disconnected from themselves. The truth is simple. Pressure pushes you into chaos, while purpose pulls you into alignment. Pressure scatters your energy. Purpose concentrates it. Pressure makes you reactive. Purpose makes you effective. When you wake up and let purpose, not pressure, guide you, your entire day gains meaning. You stop racing through life and start leading your life. The world celebrates speed, but speed without direction is just noise. Anyone can be busy. Anyone can fill their day with tasks. Anyone can run around trying to meet expectations. That takes no strength, that takes no clarity. But to move with purpose, to move with intention, that's where power is built. Purpose clarifies what matters and what doesn't. It helps you separate urgency from importance. It anchors you so deeply that the world's chaos can't shake you. When you operate from purpose, you're not chasing validation, approval, or perfection. You're pursuing something meaningful, something aligned with who you are and who you want to become. And once you understand your why, your how becomes unstoppable. Purpose turns ordinary moments into meaningful ones. It transforms routine into progress. It shapes your day into something worth living, not just something worth checking off. Pressure tells you that you have to do everything. Purpose tells you to focus on the things that actually move you forward. Pressure convinces you that you're falling behind. Purpose reminds you that your path is your own. Pressure screams at you to rush. Purpose whispers, be intentional. And those whispers are powerful. They quiet the noise in your mind. They strengthen your focus. They remind you that life is not a race against others. It's a journey within yourself. When you start your morning with purpose, you create mental space to choose your thoughts instead of reacting to them. You create emotional space to regulate your energy instead of letting stress take over. You create physical space to move through your day with clarity instead of chaos. You reclaim your peace, and from that peace you build power. There's a calm confidence that comes from moving with purpose. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's steady. When you carry purpose, you don't chase everything. You attract what aligns with you. You don't crumble under stress. You analyze, strategize, and move forward. You don't get lost in the overwhelm, you rise above it. Your steps become intentional. Your decisions become sharper. Your presence becomes stronger. People can feel it. You walk into a room differently when you're operating from purpose. You communicate differently. You choose your battles differently. You no longer let life push you around because you finally understand that you're not here to react. You're here to lead, to create, to become. Purpose does not eliminate challenges, but it gives you the strength to face them with direction instead of panic. Every day, life will present you with two options: move from pressure or move from purpose. Pressure feels urgent. It feels heavy. It feels like you're constantly trying to catch up. Purpose feels anchored. It feels intentional. It feels like you're finally moving towards something instead of just moving. To live with purpose, you don't need a grand mission statement or a perfectly crafted plan. Purpose can be simple. It can be as small as deciding the type of energy you want to bring into your day. It can be asking yourself one question each morning: what do I want today to mean? That question alone shifts everything. It pulls you out of autopilot and into awareness. It turns your morning into a conscious choice instead of a frantic reaction. And once you choose your purpose for the day, the rest of your actions form naturally around it. Moving with purpose is not about slowing down, it's about moving in the right direction. It's about replacing panic with clarity, replacing chaos with intention, replacing noise with meaning. You deserve to live a life that is guided by purpose, not dictated by pressure. You deserve to feel grounded instead of overwhelmed, centered instead of scattered, intentional instead of reactive. And the only person who can create that shift is you. Every morning you have the power to choose what energy you step into. You can wake up and fall into the world's urgency, or you can wake up and rise into your own intention. That choice becomes your habit. That habit becomes your character. And that character becomes your destiny. Move with purpose, not pressure, and watch your entire life rise in the direction you choose. Most people wait for motivation as if it's some magical force that will sweep in, lift them out of bed, hand them their purpose, and carry them through the day. But motivation is unreliable. It's emotional. It comes and goes based on your mood, your circumstances, and the chaos around you. One day you feel unstoppable, the next, you can barely take a step. If you build your life around motivation, you will always feel inconsistent, always feel behind, always feel like you're chasing the version of yourself you wish you were. But discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't need inspiration, excitement, or the perfect atmosphere. Discipline shows up because you said you would. It builds you, shapes you, strengthens you in ways motivation never can. When motivation fades, discipline remains. And when discipline remains, transformation begins. There will be mornings when you don't feel powerful. There will be mornings when life feels heavy, when your body feels tired, when your mind feels slow. There will be mornings where you question everything you're pursuing, everything you're building, everything you're striving for. And it's in those moments, those quiet, lonely moments, that your life is truly shaped. Because the world convinces you to wait until you feel ready, but readiness is a myth. If you only act when you're inspired, you will miss 90% of your growth. But when you act from discipline, when you take steps even when you don't feel like it, you create momentum that pushes you forward no matter the season you're in. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. It's the silent work that no one sees but everyone eventually notices. Discipline is not punishment, it's self-respect. It's proof that you believe in your future enough to show up for it, even when the present feels difficult. It's honoring your commitments, not because they're easy, but because they're a reflection of your character. Discipline teaches you that the promises you make to yourself matter. It teaches you that you are capable of consistency, capable of follow-through, capable of becoming the person you dream about. And the more you practice discipline, the stronger your identity becomes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries. You start seeing yourself as someone who does. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes. You start seeing yourself as someone who builds. Discipline creates identity, and identity creates destiny. People often misunderstand discipline. They think it has to be dramatic or extreme. They imagine waking up at 5 a.m., running miles before sunrise, changing their entire life overnight. But real discipline is built in the small, consistent decisions you make every single day. It's choosing to get out of bed when you want to hit snooze. It's choosing to complete one task when your mind wants to escape into distraction. It's choosing to focus for 10 minutes when the world pulls you in 1,000 directions. It's choosing to honor your goals even when no one is watching. Those small decisions stack, they accumulate. They build a foundation so strong that your future becomes stable, steady, unshakable. Discipline is not one big moment, it's 1,000 small ones. And every time you choose discipline, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Discipline becomes powerful when you stop viewing it as something outside of you and start viewing it as a part of you. It's not a skill reserved for the driven or the gifted. It's not a trait handed out at birth. It's a muscle, one that strengthens with use and weakens with neglect. And the more you practice discipline, the more it becomes who you are. You stop negotiating with yourself, you stop making excuses, you stop waiting for the perfect moment. You begin to trust yourself deeply because you know you'll show up regardless of the circumstances. That inner trust is rare. It's valuable, it's powerful. It's the kind of trust that changes the way you walk through life. When you know you can rely on yourself, the world stops feeling so intimidating. You become grounded, you become centered, you become unbreakable. In the end, motivation might spark a moment, but discipline builds a lifetime. Discipline carries you when motivation fails. Discipline keeps you focused when distractions pull at you. Discipline turns your goals into habits and your habits into reality. It's not glamorous, it's not dramatic, but it's the foundation of every great life ever built. And the beautiful part? Discipline is a choice you get to make every single day. Not a perfect choice, not an easy choice, but a powerful one. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel inspired. You just have to show up. Because every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're shaping your future in ways you can't yet see. You're building the version of yourself you will one day be proud of. You're becoming the kind of person who doesn't just dream, you follow through. You rise, you evolve, you win, build discipline before motivation arrives. And you'll rise even on the days when your inspiration doesn't.